and I'm going to throw in a couple of extra things as well, because I just think it's the more you know the old saying. So as you walk into any Catholic church, and in our Catholic church, you'll notice a little bowl of water. That little bowl of water is filled with holy water. And you can start, every time you come into the church, you can dip your fingers into it, now that you know the sign of the cross, and bless yourself with the holy water. And just take a little bit of the holy water. My sons, when they were little, they used to take handfuls. I had to break that bad habit, but start to bless yourself as you come into this sacred space. That's what you're doing. You're stepping out of that space into this space. And they're found at all the entrances of the church. And there's even one for Father and I as we're leaving the sanctuary, as we go back into the area where we get ready for Mass as well. It's to remind you of the blessings of God's love for you and your baptism. When you walk into the church, you can go right into a pew. Often you'll see Catholics, they will genuflect. They're genuflecting to that particular box over there, which is called the tabernacle. The tabernacle in most Catholic churches is in the center of the church. Some churches, the tabernacle is off to the side in a different chapel. You'll find that. And it holds the consecrated Eucharist that has been consecrated at Mass. So you'll see before some, out of reverence, because we believe in the real presence, you'll see people genuflecting towards the tabernacle or the crucifix, and then you just go right into your pew and sit down. As we come forward, this area here, as it runs along all the way around up into this space, is considered what is called the sanctuary. The sanctuary. And Father and I we are actually, most sanctuaries you ascend, because Father and I are ascending to the altar, which will become the altar of sacrifice. So this becomes a sacred space. Near every tabernacle in every Catholic church in the world, you will see a big candle. That big candle is called the sanctuary lamp. If that sanctuary lamp is lit, Jesus is truly present. The consecrated hosts are in that tabernacle. So we believe that that candle is a reminder of the constant light of Christ that is to be kept burning brightly. If the candle is out, there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. Okay? Every Catholic church has a crucifix. I preached about this last weekend, actually, and the exaltation of the cross. And there's usually a main crucifix located in the church, and it's usually directly over the tabernacle in most Catholic churches. We have the image of Jesus on the cross. Many of your churches that you come from, I know you don't have the body on the cross. And as Catholics, we believe that, well, it says a lot. It reminds us a lot of his suffering, his love, and that he still is here. The resurrection has taken place. Yes, he has gone from that cross in a sense, but as Catholics, we believe that the body is always present on the cross because he is with us. He has never left us, and he will not leave us. All right. The altar. This is the most important piece of furniture in the house. This is where it all happens. This is where heaven and earth collide every Mass when the Eucharist is consecrated. So that is located typically in the center of the sanctuary, and this is where the Eucharist is consecrated. Altars are usually made out of very fine materials, marble. This one has some wood in it. Some of the Catholic churches that you'll visit, you will see some of the most beautiful and ornate, made out of the most beautiful materials, because it is the most important and the focal point of the sanctuary and of the church itself. Within every altar, we have relics. We call them relics, or pieces, a part of a bone of a saint, or maybe some of their hair, or that type of thing. And typically in altars, there are two relics. Ours has two relics. It's St. Felicity and St. Christine. St. Christine. In the early church, the Mass was being celebrated. Christians were being persecuted. You cannot be openly a follower of Jesus Christ. So the Christians, when they were celebrating and gathering to celebrate Mass, often they would celebrate on the tombs of the martyrs in the catacombs. So they would actually celebrate on the graves of the martyrs. So in a similar way, we do as well. The Roman Missal, Father, can you point that out? The Roman Missal, it's the book of the Mass prayers. That's used by Father at the Mass. And it is the same book that the Pope uses. It's the same book that every bishop uses. We all play from the same book. And it's heavy. It's heavy. Prayer upon prayer upon prayer, used by the priest. The ciborium. The ciborium is the container which holds the Eucharist after it has been consecrated. It is made out of a precious metal, typically. The chalice. The chalice is a sacred vessel used by the priest during the celebration of the Eucharist. It holds the precious blood and it is consecrated. It is typically made out of gold, sometimes stone, some of the older ones, but that is the chalice. The paten. I have two examples of patens there. One paten is for the main host that Father will consecrate at Mass. And then the other paten is what the server will hold under the person who is receiving communion in order to capture any crumbs that may fall. And the servers, it's very interesting because you will see Father, after the servers bring back their, or myself, the paten to Father or I, we will take it and very carefully turn it and rub off. And I often point out to the servers, I point to the particles, and they get it. They're like, yeah, deacon, I know it's Jesus. So they get it. The communion, let's see, the cruets, part of the gifts that are brought forward. You make a good Vanna White, I swear. These are the glass containers, or made out of precious metals that contain the water and the wine that will be used during the celebration of the Mass. The ambo. The ambo is over here. This is where the lector will read the Word of God, the first reading, and the lectionary. Father, can you hold that up? That contains all of the readings for the Mass. So that is all inclusive of the words that we will hear. The gold book next to that real shiny one there, those are the books of the gospel. That's it. No Old Testament readings, no letters of St. Paul, all gospel. The words of Jesus himself. So this is very significant. That's why there is a procession with this book. This book is different. Yes, this is the Word of God, but now we're going to hear from him himself. So there are torches that precede me as I go, and typically incense as well. You want to explain to him why we use the incense at the gospel? All of it.
So this is a thermal where we burn incense and come along and we can swing it around. And the mixer, the incense is there, the smoke is there. The servers are always wanting to and sometimes I got them, but our time rule is so the servers will come out and they'll open up the lid and Deacon will take the boat, which is what we call a and incenses, there's a lot of different sorts of incenses. We get them from a lot of places, and it's usually inter-aromatic. Mass, to incense the altar, to prepare. Because this is a place the Holy Sacrament is about to happen. And then we'll use it again at the book of the Gospel. So not only call importance to what we're doing by proclaiming the Word of God, but by sanctifying the actions that we take part in. Then we'll do the gift, where I'll incense around on the gift. That is preparing them as well as our prayers, preparing them with the sweet smell of divinity, so as we can consume everything that is the celebration of the Father. And then we use this passing out agent of the Eucharist and the certain part of that. And we'll talk about all the touch. But when I raise the body and blood of Jesus Christ, over the we usually have service come out with the torches and a fervor and the incense when I hold up the sacrament. So we draw the eye, so raise the reverence of the celebration. And of the words that you're going to hear a lot of, it's probably reverence. We use the word reverence all the time for our worship here at Sacred Heart because we take it so seriously. We have to take Mass seriously. This is the source and summit, the high point of what we do as Catholics, what gives us food for the journey. So we worship using all of our senses as well. Smell, sight, everything. Everything. Holy.
Just very good, Father. Just as they did, and the high priest would use incense in the ancient temple as well. So it has been part of liturgy from the very beginning. Candles. Oh, do we use candles in the Catholic Church? Yes. That is an example of a votive candle. If you look, every Catholic church will have an alcove, or ours is over there, where you can go and you can light a candle, and typically someone will light the candle and say a prayer. You can make a donation if you wish, pay for the candles. We have to pay for the candles somehow, but you don't have to. When I was a kid, that's a Catholic kid's favorite thing to do. The church I went to, they had the little red ones, and there must have been like 500, and that was like every Sunday, can I light a candle? Can I have a quarter, Dad? Sure, go, But it was great. It was great. And the kids get it too. They're like, I had a kid ask me, he's like, Deacon Rich, since that's a big candle, does that mean my prayer goes on a long time? And these kids are serious. They want to pray for people. And I say, yeah, it does. It does. This candle here, which when it starts out is bigger than me, is the Paschal candle. Every Catholic church has the Paschal candle. This candle is blessed at the Easter Vigil. We start over with a new one. Father has special prayers at the Easter Vigil. And this is the candle that is lit during baptisms, it's lit during funerals, and it is lit during the Easter season. And it's a heavy sucker when it's big, so. During the Easter season, it's lit for every liturgy as a symbol that we enter into the death and resurrection of Christ at our baptism. The presider's chair. The bigger chair is for the priest. The smaller chair, not because I'm small, but is for typically the deacon. The deacon will sit on this side of the priest typically, and if you go to a Catholic church, or that side if there are two deacons, but the presider's chair is more significant. That's where he will sit. Father is standing next to the baptismal font. Every Catholic church has a baptismal font. A lot of your older Catholic churches will actually have a separate chapel with baptismal font. In Europe, they have large chapels were just dedicated to the baptism itself, and they're beautiful. I've seen so many pictures, but that is where our baptisms will take place. The cabinet that you see over in the corner there, with the 3 bottles of oil, we have 3 holy oils, and that is called an ambry. Every Catholic church, in the front somewhere in the church, you'll see 3 bottles of holy oil, and we'll learn all about that, but that is called an ambry. Most of you can see over to the side there. There's a small room with 3 doors. That's a confessional. Every Catholic church has confessionals. Some have, we have 2 here. One side that you go in, the priest sits in the center. That's Father Joe's. He's got it pretty, I think he's got it decked out on the inside. A couple of little statues and things. The one side that you'll go in, we'll learn all about this. There, you will sit and you will see Father face to face. The other side, you have the option. There's a screen where the priest can hear your confession, but he cannot see you. So we'll learn all about that when we get into the theology of the Sacrament of Reconciliation. If you look around the church, there are 14 plaques on the walls going all the way around the church. In the main body of a Catholic church, those are called the Stations of the Cross. And the Stations of the Cross they depict our Lord as he walked his way to Calvary. And it's a ancient prayer that will teach you to say, I've seen some of the most beautiful Stations of the Cross in just life-size marble in certain churches. And yeah, look for these things that I'm talking about. You will find are signature things that you will find in every single Catholic church in the world that you go into. You will know it. You will know it. It's like yes, there's the Stations of the Cross. There's the sanctuary. There's the holy oils. So, a lot of churches, not every church, has a chapel that is a separate room for prayer. We are very blessed here at Sacred Heart. We have this room over here is our sacred chapel. It's a chapel of Divine Mercy. It was built when this wing was put on here. This chapel is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Within the chapel, the Blessed Sacrament is exposed. The large host that has been consecrated at Mass, after Mass is finished, is put back out. Father, can you show them this monstrance here? This is an example of a monstrance. A monstrance is a container that we use to basically put Jesus out for people to adore, because we believe in the real presence. The word monstrance means to show. So this is exactly what's happening. I tell people, most of the churches are locked up in Wadsworth. You can come here, and I have a lot of my friends who are not Catholic, and they've taken me up on it, and they've come, and sometimes often late at night, and it's just a quiet, peaceful place to pray. Catholic churches have stained glass windows. Our stained glass windows, they all, at nighttime you can't see, but during the day they're brilliant, and they tell a story. You have to remember in the early church, when they were building these churches that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, a lot of the people were not literate, but they knew the stories because the stories were in the windows, and it would just come alive. I've been into some of these Catholic churches in the windows. I find myself drifting off at Mass, and I get captured in the stained glass, and I can't take my eyes off of it. I'm like, oh, I got to get back to the priest here in the center. So you'll know what I mean when you see it. The sacristy is the room where Father Joe and I get ready, and we put on our vestments. And I brought some of the vestments out to show you. So, Father, I'm going to show you my vestments first. So the first thing that Father and I, we put on a little cloth around our neck. It's called an amice. It protects our neck, and it starts that. This is called an alb. Every priest and deacon, the next vestment that we put on is it's a white robe. Okay, I'm clothing. You were given a white garment at your baptism. You clothed yourself in Christ. St. Paul said you're different now. So Father and I, we put this vestment on to remind us of our baptism, and now it's not about us. It's about me as a follower and minister for Christ. So this is put on. After this is put on, I will put on what is called, and Father will put on what is called a cincture around our waist to kind of keep everything together. No, just to keep. It's a reminder of our chastity and our purity, and so that is put on next. The next thing that I will put on is called a stole. Now, if you see this stole, you can pick your stole up. It's underneath there. My stole, a deacon stole. If you see a deacon, sometimes deacons will just wear the stole. It goes across my chest and down. He's a deacon, okay? This is Father's stole. It goes around his neck. If you see somebody walking around with that, even without a white collar, he's a priest. Deacon, priest. The next vestment that we put on, you can hold yours up here. There you go. My vestment is called a dalmatic. I have sleeves. Okay, this is the final vestment that I put on. Father's is called a chasuble, and the chasuble, they do not, you'll notice, he has no sleeve there. They ran out of thread. No, just kidding. So, no, that is the final vestment that Father puts on, and that's the difference. So you'll recognize a deacon right away, and Father. The priest and the deacon. There's one other vestment I wanted to show you that's kind of neat. Outside of Mass, if there is a prayer service, or you'll learn about a service called a benediction, it's not a chasuble, and the deacon or the priest can wear it. We wear our alb and our cincture and all of that sort of thing. But this is called a cope. And often you'll see Father or I wearing this. This is what this is, okay? I wouldn't want that job. No. Father someday probably, but he has to promise me I can be his deacon if he's Pope. Or bishop. I'll take bishop. All right. Any questions so far? Good? We have various colors to our vestments. The colors, green. We're in ordinary time right now. We wear green. There's nothing ordinary about it. It's just, we recall all of the ordinary things in our life. There are these other times and how Christ is moving and active, and we learn about him during this time period. We come to know him. White we wear. We use it during the Christmas season and the Easter season, and during the Blessed season feasts for our Blessed Mother, and also it's used at funerals. Red, when we celebrate the feast of a martyr. We wore red on Sunday for the exaltation of the cross because of the crucifixion on the cross. During Advent and Lent, we wear purple, and that is a sign of penance, symbol of penance and reparation used during those seasons. 2 times a year, you'll see us come out in rose, not pink, rose color, Father and I, and it's during this Sunday during Advent and a Sunday during Lent. And sometimes gold is worn as well, vestments, typically, and during Christ the King, sometimes I've seen it. And then black, used to wear black during funerals. Father has a black vestment. It's absolutely stunning, and he'll wear that on All Souls Day, when we celebrate the Feast of All Souls. You will learn about all of these various feast days. We talked about incense. If you can show them the pics there. There's a small metal container that is the small version of the ciborium. Typically, if you come to the 8 o'clock Mass, if someone wants to take communion to the homebound or to a nursing home, this is the container, this is the blessed container that they will take it in. The black little leather is called a burse, and the small pyx goes into the burse, and you'll see, we will give it out at Mass, and then they will be dismissed. You don't stop at Dunkin' Donuts. You don't go to McDonald's for coffee and an Egg McMuffin. You go directly with that to the person because you are carrying the consecrated host. You're carrying Christ with you. So that's what we do. All right, any questions so far about, I've pointed out a lot of different areas in the church. Any questions? Real quick, on the back of the handout, The parish center, many of you I have met with in our parish center. Every parish has a center where there are the offices and meeting places. Rectory, there is a house between the church here and the parish center. That's where Father Joe and Father Joe live. Okay, that's where the priests typically live. Convent is, or cloisters or monasteries. Nuns can live in those places. This is considered a parish. In Cleveland, there is a church that is titled a cathedral. And a cathedral is the residence of the bishop. The bishop of we're in the Cleveland diocese. It's a geographical area. That's the nucleus of the diocese. And we are kind of the satellites out in the diocese. There are 185 parishes alone in the Cleveland diocese, 750,000 Catholics that the bishop is responsible for, and we are here at Sacred Heart. And the rest. One other thing I want to point out: a shrine is a little bit different than a Catholic church. You want to talk about that? A shrine?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Shrines are places of particular importance or pilgrimage. So here in the Diocese of Cleveland, we have St. Anne's Shrine that is on the east side of Cleveland in Highland Heights. And then we have Our Lady of Lourdes Shrine, which is named after an apparition of Mary and is a piece of the original Lourdes in France. And it's run by the Trinitarian Sisters Nuns. And they're places of pilgrimage. Or we have St. Stanislaus Shrine Church that has a beautiful icon and a lot of relics of different saints, especially of St. John Paul II, pontiff or pope of recent memory. And what makes those places is the bishop. The bishop is Greek for overseer, so he oversees all of us. He is my direct superior, and he makes the rules in the land. So when he tells me to jump, I pull out the trampoline and start jumping.
He's my boss too.
And so he can raise and elevate things. So he's changed the status of some things to a shrine. He's changed some status of churches to oratories, which means they don't really have regular masses that are offered, but you can get married there, buried there. You can also go there for prayer. So there are different levels, but mostly this is what you're going to find a parish church. Parish churches are usually every now and again you find but you're never going to find in a downtown. For very long in our country, illegal for own property downtown. And some places like Richmond Heights on the east side of Cleveland even had that law on their books up until about 1970. And you'll find that they're just pushed a little farther away. So we always find it.
Yep. Also, one last thing I want to say is that every Catholic church that you go to, there's some sort of board where they're electronic or ours is over here to the left, and that one is, you can see it from that side of the church. The top number is the number where you'll find the readings that will be read at Mass, pretty much in every Catholic church. And then typically the song numbers are below that unless they announce something different. So look for that. Look for that. So now when you come to the church, I hope that you're a little bit more comfortable and you'll be able to just be and pray with us. Okay? Any questions? Yes. Is a bishop and an archbishop the same? We're going to teach you a lot about that. They are technically, but you want to handle it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're both bishops. One is raised to be an archbishop, which arch just means first. So when Catholicism was spreading along to the United States, it landed first in Baltimore and pushed towards the west and to a place in Kentucky. And from Kentucky, it turned north into what we now as Ohio, Michigan.
Right.
And at one point, so we're all part of Bardstown, Kentucky, which is in Kentucky. state lines basically contain all of the dioceses and the one archdiocese of the state. The smaller states typically are one diocese and overseen by something else. Like Maine is the diocese that's overseen by Boston. Our archdiocese is Cincinnati, and in the state of Ohio, we have the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, we have the Diocese of Columbus, the Diocese of Cleveland, the Diocese of Toledo in America, because they have differentiated from the Toledo in Spain. So this is in America, lest we forget where it's in in some Spain. Then we have the Diocese of Youngstown and the Diocese of Steuben. So one of those.
Very good question. Cincinnati was the first. Yes. The one that is right in front of you in the pew.
So those black books.
Very good question.
Why don't you pick up those black books? But those black books, if you page through it, you're going to see readings, you're going to see reading cycles. That's where all the hymns are. So like number 573 is one hymn. There's also a guide to Mass in there that's in the middle. So all of these things will explain.
Yep, in great detail. But I think we're at a good starting point today when you come. Okay? Those of you who are not Catholic, and if you feel so moved in your heart, you can start coming up, and if you would like to receive a blessing, you can receive a blessing not from only from a priest or a deacon when someone is coming up for communion. If you come up and cross yourself like this, I will give you a blessing, or Father will give you a blessing. Just simply like that, if you feel so moved. Okay? All right, let's head back downstairs, everyone, for our quick final prayer and one or two other things, and then that's it.